Hey everyone, it's Angela Allen. Welcome back to the Handmade Homestead and welcome to Stocktober. Let's go. Well, Stocktober is of course October, and it's the last real month of the year to be able to stock up and nest and get prepared for the winter season.
October is about more than just stocking your pantry. It is about that, but it's also about readying everything for the cold season ahead, especially if you live like I do in New England or in Alaska or any of the states that get lots and lots of snow and cold weather, inclement weather. It's about getting ready for the season in every way that you need to.
Now, like most of you, I do the Every Bit Counts challenge that's put on by Three Rivers Homestead every year in the month of August. And so every day for the entire month, you try to put away some kind of food project, no matter how small, in your pantry or your freezer or however you choose to store it for the winter season for your family. And I do that every year. But I also participate in Stocktober, and that's something I do by myself. I don't even know if there's a thing called Stocktober. I suppose I could look that up, but I'm thinking there must be. It gets quite cold where I live. Not cold like Alaska or Maine cold, but it does get down in the 20s sometimes. We do have snow off and on during the winter, and things are gray and cold outside, and I don't really want to run out to the store for Q-tips or bath tissue or whatever I might need. So I do try to stock up on those things this month, but I also stock my house. So I make sure my shampoo bottle and my conditioner dispenser in the shower is full, and I make sure my pantry has what it needs in it, and I have extra sugar and flour and cocoa and rice and pasta in my pantry for the colder months. So those are things I don't have to bring in. I usually buy extra animal feed, and for us that means extra big bags of dog food. We buy 50-pound bags of dog food for our bull mastiff and little 8 or 10-pound bags for our chihuahua. So I buy extra dog food. I buy a couple of extra bags of chicken feed, extra hay, extra shavings, those kinds of things. I stock up on those, so when it's cold and it's snowy, or if the weather's inclement, we have what we need right here in this household for our family and our pets and our comfort. So I'm going to take you on a quick little tour of my pantry so that we can have a look at what I have already done. I can tell you a little bit about what else I'm going to do to round it out. It's not much. I think most of my canning's done. Frankly, I'm out of jars and I'm out of lids at this point, and we'll have to buy more. I have probably about 30 quart jars left, and those will all be taken up by pasta sauce. And I have just a couple of little, you can see a couple of them behind me. In fact, those are ones that we've emptied in the past week in the kitchen, or a few days really. But I only just have a few jelly jars, and I do need to make a big batch of peach scrap jam or jelly. I have my peach scraps in the freezer too, as well as some tomatoes in the freezer, but I haven't processed those yet, frankly, because every other day I'm making, 6 or 7 or 8 jars of pasta sauce. I still have a refrigerator full of eggplant to deal with, and some cucumbers too. So I'm going to deal with those hopefully today as well. But I'm going to take you on a quick little pantry tour just to show you what our pantry looks like. Now keep in mind that we are a small family of 3 adults. Mike and I have the upstairs, and there's an apartment in our lower level that my son actually lives in. He is an adult computer programmer, but he still, lives here. He finds it affordable and comfortable, and there's a back entrance. He goes in and out as he wants, so we see him maybe every couple of days. But downstairs I also have a big weaving studio for myself. It takes up probably 3/4 of the downstairs space, which is a pretty big space. And then I also have some pantry shelves down there. I do keep an upstairs working pantry, and just the overflow canning and frozen stuff are downstairs. So I'm just going to give you a quick look at what we have. But again, it's only really for 2 people. Ben provides his own food 99.9% of the time. If I'm baking muffins, I might give him muffins, or I made sourdough pancakes this morning. I sent some down to him, but he really is completely independent from us. So he does his own food shopping. He has everything he needs for his own life down in his living space. So, all right, we'll take a quick look at that just so you guys can see about how much that we preserve for 2 people. And let's go. For those who are curious, this is my weaving studio. I talk about it quite a bit. There is quite a bit of room here on the other side of the camera as well that I use for storage. It goes all the way down, and then this way it goes to the left. There's a reading area. I have like a little library there with books and a table just for weaving books when I'm working out patterns. And then after this beam coming this way, there's another alcove that I just use for sewing. It's got a sewing machine and a serger and an ironing board and all of that set up in it. But this is primarily the 2 looms that I use now. I at one time did have 7 big floor looms, but I've knocked it down to these 2. They are both Norwood looms, 50 inches. The first one's 4 harness, 6 treadle. The second one is 8 harness, 10 treadle. So she's much bigger. I call them the little sister and the big sister. So this is a back hallway in our house. It's not heated, but it doesn't stay all that much cooler because, as you can see, there's a great big door opening there that goes into the weaving studio and the rest of the house in this lower level. But it is where I keep my freezer. So the great big freezer, we use that primarily as our meat freezer. And these 2 freezers, the one in the middle is mostly fruit usually, but right now it's full of vegetables too because I ran out of room, frankly. And this closer one is full of vegetables. I apologize for the stuff on top. I've been doing some work on the window of my car. I have a convertible. I have a mini roadster, a Mini Cooper roadster. It has a 2-seater and it's a rag top. The window, every few years, sometimes the back window will kind of pop out and it has to be repaired. So I've been working on that, and that's what that is. So yeah, let's take a look in the freezers. This is just to give you an example, but this is my middle freezer. Now this freezer is supposed to be fruit, but as you can see, I don't usually grow broccoli, so I do buy some occasionally. But this is full of Swiss chard, spinach, all the way back. There's actually, this is quite deep, so there's 2 brown paper grocery bags, one stacked on top of another, one in the front, so 2 in the front, 2 in the back. Those brown paper bags. I know you can just see one there, but there's another full one below it too. So there's literally 4 full to the top grocery bags, full, absolutely full, and then extra overflow in here. And like I said, this is fruit as well, but it's the extra overflow for the veggies in our house. Anyone who knows me knows I joke all the time about the number of green beans around here. This freezer has some over here. There's, again, 4 bags in here, right? This back bag, the top and the bottom of it, the bottom bag is full of snow peas or pea pods. All the rest of these bags, I swear, every single inch of this freezer is green beans. There's like so many green beans in here. Now we do eat a lot of green beans, but that's why I didn't grow too many this year, and I still have too many. Now I don't know if there's a good angle that I can actually put this camera at to show you what is on these shelves, but I can kind of tell you, and that might make it a little bit easier. So let's just start over here. So very top shelf right here. That's about a dozen jars of tomato juice and dehydrated, just crushed red peppers, and then some extra herbs that I just don't have any room for the extras or all of the extras upstairs. You guys have seen my tea line up on the back of my counter. Some of that is mint and stevia leaves and that kind of stuff.
Then at the other side of that, there are actually some baskets and covered bins, and those hold extra toiletry supplies. Again, Stocktober, I make sure I have extra toothpaste and extra toothbrushes and stuff like that in the house, and that's where I store stuff like that. The next shelf down, the first couple of rows there, that's Rotel. I made that with you the other day. There's a video for that. Diced jalapeno peppers. The next 3 rows, those are all peach applesauce. The next 3 rows are apple scrap jelly that was left over from making apple pie filling and applesauce. The little jars in the middle that you see, they're kind of yellow. Those are powdered dehydrated butter. And then all the rest of the jars after it going that way are just dry beans, like black beans and garbanzo beans and split peas and lentils and pinto beans. The next row going down, that is all jam. So I think it's rose jam, Amish rhubarb jam, marmalade, raspberry jam, strawberry rhubarb jam, cherry jam, raspberry jam, blackberry jam, cranberry jam. What am I missing? I'm probably missing a couple of flavors. Regular strawberry jam too, I believe. In there. Oh, there's corncob jelly in there. There's something else, but it's escaping me. But that's okay. That's probably good enough for you guys to know. Oh, did I say marmalade? I always have lots of jam. We do use jam quite a bit. The next row down, that is the first 6 you see are just plain tomato sauce, and that's why they're off to one side. I don't use a lot of tomato sauce. I prefer to use pasta sauce that's already been flavored. But if I'm doing something that specifically needs less flavoring, then there you go. But even if I was making chili, I would use pasta sauce. Now the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 rows there, or 6, 7 rows, those are all pasta sauce. I can tell you that I do have to make at least probably 30 jars between the 50 pounds of tomatoes in my freezer and then the fact that my garden is still pumping out tomatoes, ripe tomatoes right now. I do plan to make plenty more. And going past that, you can't see because the freezer's in the way, there's a little bit of appliance storage right there. The next shelf down, that is syrup. It is corn cob syrup that I made that we use on pancakes. I do plan to make some other syrups, blueberry, raspberry, those kinds of things. We don't eat a lot of pancakes, but we do eat some sourdough pancakes, so I definitely need more syrup. But those are things that I can actually make in the winter time even, because I would just use frozen blueberries. It's well past blueberry season. I don't have any in the freezer, so I would use frozen fruit for some of those anyway. The next things over, those are our peaches. Those are just 9 jars of just canned peaches. The box next to it, it's hard to tell, but those are all soap bars. And then next to that, that's quite a big box of soap bars. Next to that is a great big box of homemade candles. And then after that is the big box where I store all of our batteries. So that kind of takes care of that shelf. These little bins, I keep extra paper cups from the bathroom, cold compress, things that you would put in the freezer for cold compresses. And then the next one over on the left side, that has matches and lighters and other extra batteries in it as well. All right, in the middle I just keep a basket with some tape and some markers, permanent markers in case I have to write on or label shelving, and some paper towels. So let's go to the bigger shelf over here. I don't know if I can give you a better angle of this. Let me move you closer. So the entire bottom row that you see down there, that is all cranberry juice. We love cranberry juice. I make it every November, or at least I buy a ton of cranberries, and I make it maybe a couple times a year. As my jars free up, I tend to fill them back up with cranberry juice because we love it. And so I keep quite a stock on hand. And when you make it, you do have to let it sit for several weeks before it's usable. So that is all absolutely drinkable. The next one up, the next row up is, I'll get closer and tell you, but those are actually all drinking stuff too. And then the next up are condiments and pickles. So let me get a little bit closer for you. So because I do have a big pile of things right to my left that are here for donation, that I can't get the camera close enough,
to go through each thing, so I'm just going to tell you from here. The very, very end, those 2 rows, all of these are 4 jars back each row. So those first 2 rows, those are peach, apple, lemon pie filling, and they are so good. The next 3 rows, they're kind of yellow there. Those are zucchini, pineapple. The next 3 rows are mandarin oranges. The next one is bourbon peaches, and oh my goodness, are those good. There were quite a few more. I think there's only 1 left. And then all the rest of these that you see are different kinds of pickles. So they are either cucumber pickles, mixed pickles with peppers and onions and cucumbers and zucchini, say. They're all different. I make 2 or 3 or 4 of each kind or each flavor of pickle that I do. And then that's it. And then I make a different flavor the next time. And I do that because, again, it's just Mike and I. We don't need 75 jars of garlic dill pickles. So I do something different all the time. So that's what these all are. I can see that these are, this one I think is sweet, the second one in. These are mixed pickle. These are kind of a garlicky dill pickle. I have showed you before the kind of pickle mix that I use, that I buy from Amazon. It's down below in my Amazon shop. It's not very expensive, but darn is it good. And again, going back on this one, these are all green beans, except I think this last one is peppers. But these are all different kinds of green beans. So some of these might be like dilly beans. And then some of them are my favorite flavor, which is lemon, thyme, and black pepper green beans. And they're whole green beans, I can see. And then going this way, these are 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of cowboy candy. And then 1 row of cowboy candy marinade, because I do use the marinade. The next one I think is tomato jam. Those 2 rows going back. Corn, it's just the ball pickled corn recipe. There's only 2 jars of it left. I originally made it. I made like 6. We eat it. We don't love it, but I have those left, so there they are. And then right behind it, there's 1 can of beets. I didn't do pickled beets this year, and that's something I still want to do. That's on my to-do list. The next 3 rows are zucchini relish. And the very last row there is tomato jam. So now I'm wondering what this row is right here. Huh. It's very interesting. I'm going to have to walk around you and look. Oh, peach barbecue sauce. That's what this is. Peach barbecue. This is all peach barbecue sauce. And yeah, this is tomato jam. I love tomato jam. It's really terrific if you put it on meatloaf. That's one of my favorite things. All right. Now I'm going to angle the camera down. Maybe I can walk over and point these things out. Maybe it'll make it a little bit easier, maybe, to see them. Let's see. All right. These are canned cherry tomatoes. Can you see how good those look? They're so good. This is an Italian flavor of them. That's these 2 rows. These are a Mexican flavor. So these have cilantro and garlic and oregano in them. These have oregano and lots of basil and garlic and some other herbs like rosemary in them. These 2 rows right here are actually pickled garlic. That's not from this year, it's from the year before. I still have plenty of it to use, and I gotta get using it. This is peach salsa. This is the ball recipe for peach salsa. Everybody raves about peach salsa, so I made it. We're not that big on it. It's okay if I pour it over pork or chicken in the crock pot, but we're not big on it. These are pickled peppers and zucchini. These are really yummy. These are hot pickled peppers and zucchini, but these are hot. These are not hot. This is all caponata, which is one of my favorite. I actually wanted to make several more batches of this, but I haven't gotten to it yet. Hopefully I'll be able to. All the rest of these back here And then from here over, these are all either pickled peppers and onions or pickled onions. All of them. And down here, these are almost all drink mixes. So these are all concentrates. You'd mix these in with, you know, a couple of, you know, maybe a quart of water in one of these. So probably 2 or 2.5 things of water for every one of these, or 3 things of water for every one of these. So this is rhubarb sunshine concentrate. This is strawberry rhubarb concentrate. This is more strawberry rhubarb concentrate. And you can see different years, different amounts, you get different colors. These are lemonade concentrate, watermelon concentrate, which is our favorite. These are peach juice. These are just a couple of cranberry juice that need to be used first. And then we get here, and these are peppers, pickled peppers. So these are pickled whole shishito peppers, which we love. Great condiment, great on a charcuterie board. And then these are mild pepper rings. I say mild, but they do have some jalapeno in them. And these are also mild banana pepper rings that I did. These I did recently, one of my last videos. And then again, cranberry juice is the whole bottom, and then underneath that, on across the whole bottom of that, is bottled water. We do use that occasionally. We have a water cooler upstairs, so we use the water cooler. It gets filled full of spring water. It's got, you can either use 5-gallon or 3-gallon containers, so we do refill those ourselves. And I also have a water filter system upstairs too. We are on city water here, that would be why. Yeah, so that's my downstairs pantry setup for those of you that were curious. I'm panning that way so you can see. And right there at the other end of the freezers, that's where I store all of my extra jars and lids and canning supplies when they're empty, that kind of stuff. That all just sits there. My fermenting stuff, that all sits there. Yeah, so that it's out of the way, but it's nearby too, and I can always see what I need for jars when I'm looking to take care of something else. Well, thank you for joining me today. Well, we had a quick little pantry tour and talked a little bit about October or Stocktober. Let me know down below how you're preparing for your family for the cold winter months, and even if it's not cold in your area, how you're preparing for this quieter time, the quieter season that's about to come upon us. I love the fall and winter. They're 2 of my favorite seasons. So let me know how you feel about that as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps so much with the algorithm, and we are busily trying to grow, and we really could use your help in that way. Share if you can, and don't forget to comment. I always answer comments. I love talking back and forth with you guys. And I'll see you next time. Take care.